Hey everyone, welcome back to another edition of Open Mic. This is the series that is dedicated to bringing you the chapter news and voices to help you build your speaking business. I'm Mike Mooney, and I'm joined here by our NSA Carolina's President Nanci Appleman-Vassil. How are you, Nanci?
I'm doing terrific, Mike. Thanks so much for us having this opportunity to chat for a few minutes.
Absolutely. Well, what people don't know is that we chatted for about 25 or 30 minutes before this, and the reason why, for those of you watching, I was kind of like, President, is that Nanci has just literally handed the baton over to Stan Phelps, who is now going to be our chapter president moving forward. So, and that's part of the reason why we're getting together today is to talk about the hybrid banquet that we had in Charlotte on Friday, which was absolutely phenomenal. Not just seeing everybody, right? But the fact that it was a 2-day event. Friday was about celebration, and then Saturday was all about education, right?
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, the celebration and recognition, I just thought about as
Yeah.
well, that we really had a lot of different activities on that Friday night, which were, I got a lot of good feedback. People just said, and I think you did and Stan did, and the rest of the board did as well, that it was really a very engaging and meaningful experience for folks. I know it was for me as,
Absolutely.
right.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, we had amazing speakers throughout the event, right? I mean, I saw on Friday we had Jenkins Herlong. I mean, CSP, CPAE, Hall of Fame speaker.
Absolutely.
I had no idea her singing abilities.
Yes. Oh my goodness. Was that unbelievable?
Unreal. I was sitting there saying, wait, is she lip syncing or what's going on? But no, beautiful, beautiful, right?
Yeah.
So, and
Yeah.
her message, really being around to believe in your vision and your dream, but do the work that's necessary, which was a great segue into
Yeah.
Saturday. But before we get there, recognition. You nailed it. There, chapters and organizations don't just become, right? It takes people
Right.
volunteering time, and we're a volunteer board and a volunteer organization. And you were great. You actually called out a couple of the people who really helped this chapter in this last year do some amazing things, right?
Yeah, so it is the president, the outgoing president's honor, I would say, to decide what awards. Like there's no fixed way, like you have to do 4, you have to do 2, whatever. And so I decided to do Volunteer of the Year, which
Yeah.
was a no-brainer for Nicole Greer, who happens to be our VP of membership. 31 new members since July 1st, since she took over.
Amazing.
Absolutely, absolutely. And then while we were there, we recruited a 32nd, and I told Stan that one goes in my year, not in the new year.
That's great. Hey,
Yeah,
the clock hadn't struck midnight yet, so
that's right. That's exactly right.
you
And
take it
then
all.
yeah, we did the Volunteer of the Year. And I think we really surprised this person.
Mhm.
So it went to Larry Long Jr., who, as I described the other night, he very meticulously talked to people in our chapter. He talked with me. I know he talked with
Yeah.
Stan. I know he talked with Evan and Kevin and you as well, right?
Yeah.
And then I put him in touch with Jim Smith Jr.
Mhm.
For him to talk to somebody outside of the chapter and about what it was like
Yeah.
to be part of NSA as an organization. And then he joined the beginning of January, and he went out of the gate. Like, I know you use all those racing analogies. He was like out of the gate racing,
He was.
became involved with the committee, with the programs committee, was actually standing up and presenting to, when Lenora was speaking and all sorts of different things. And I just felt like he was the epitome of the membership. And then, to surprise all of you with the President's Award,
Mhm.
which was all about the board. The board
That,
did
that
some
was very,
phenomenal things
very kind of
in
you.
making things happen. Well, and you know what I neglected to say was that you and the open mic series has been an amazing way in which to communicate with the membership. And I think people are really enjoying it because I see people are following. So no, I'm very, very grateful.
No, it's
Um,
kind of you.
I think the other thing, Mike, was that Al Walker,
Yes,
Al
yes.
Walker talked about the foundation, and then we were able to collect some money in our 50/50 to give to that foundation, and how important the foundation is and how it has evolved over time and its impact for the NSA as a whole. And then he did the installation of the new board, which was very eloquent,
Yeah.
and he's also a CSP
I,
CPAE.
I gotta tell you, I was so I had heard the name for years. I never
Mm-hmm.
had the opportunity to meet him in person, but just getting to hear him speak in person was a gift that was worth the price of admission.
Yes.
Uh, and
Yes.
and and hearing about the legacy of the NSA Foundation, understanding how it came to be and
Mhm.
how it served and evolved over the years to serve
Yeah.
members in times of need,
Yeah.
was actually really inspiring, and was an area of the chapter that, quite honestly, I wasn't as familiar with,
Right.
until I heard
Right.
Al talk about it. It
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
amazing.
It is, and it is a piece that, as you said, that most people are not aware of.
Yeah.
And that I remember when Katrina, not Katrina, the hurricane that was here in North Carolina, and I can't remember the name of it,
Mhm.
several years ago, the foundation was calling members in North Carolina to make sure that we were okay. Did we
Wow.
need anything? Did we need any kind of financial support?
Yeah.
I just thought that that was so awesome. And so, like, I can't even, I don't even have another word for it, but I just thought, wow, this is why I'm part of the organization,
It's a feeling of
because
community.
it's giving back.
Yeah,
Right. It's a sense of
and
community.
that's what we
Mm.
talk about all the time within this chapter.
Mhm.
It is tough.
Mhm.
There are times you feel like you were out there on your own as a professional speaker. Much like if you're in the
Absolutely.
middle of a hurricane and you're disconnected from the things you need, you feel like you're on your own. And to have a familiar hand or voice reach out or call to you,
Mhm.
is you can't put a price on that. You just can't.
No,
You
no.
know.
So then I don't feel like I'm a transaction. I
Right.
feel like I'm part of an engagement.
Yes, yes, the
Yeah.
community of people. It's a
Mhm.
relationship, absolutely.
Yep.
Part of that
Absolutely.
part of that relationship, though, and part of the obligation is also on the education front, right? We are here to
Mhm.
serve professional speakers to help them elevate the game, accelerate the game, getting back to the racing background, right? Accelerate
Mhm.
what they're doing
Mhm.
with their gifts and their talents and their
Yes.
passion and commitment. And Saturday, take us through a little bit of Saturday. I mean, the kick. I mean, Barry Banther again, chairman of the board of NSA. Holy cow, phenomenal.
Yes. Yes. And I didn't realize that he lived in Banner Elk,
I know. I
up in that mountain foothill area of North Carolina. And then he spends 6 months in Tarpon Springs, Florida, which is what people do when they live. That seems to be the thing. It's Florida in the winter, and then the mountains of North Carolina in the summer. So he was awesome. I mean, he just gave of himself for 90 minutes, and it was very interactive. And, we mentioned the fact that this was hybrid. And so we really had to pay attention to the folks that weren't physically in the room with us. And so
Right.
he did a really good job of first saying, okay, do I have a question from somebody in the virtual group and then in the in-person group?
Yes.
It was great. I think everyone was writing copious notes or typing really quickly on their
Oh,
laptops, and it
I
was,
was.
yep.
I was one of them. Without a
Yeah,
doubt. I mean, the way that he
yeah,
took the time to help people clarify their position, where you think
yes.
that, oh, well, here's what I'm about, and then you get down to
Hmm.
the third question he would ask. Remember
Yes,
why does it
yes,
matter? And it was the why
right,
it
right,
matters. He's like, that
yes.
is what you start with, and you're like, of course you do. Why didn't I see that? You know?
Yeah, and he used the same three questions for each person that raised their hand to volunteer to talk about something, and it was the same three questions. It was
Yeah,
amazing, and I think
yeah,
we kicked off the day with that community building exercise where we had the four questions, and we did 4 rounds where we had you each asked the same question, virtual or in person. And then you had like 4 minutes, and then we did, the 4 different rounds, and people said, wow, this is great. And the caveat was that at least in the in-person one, is that you couldn't go to your best friend. You
right.
had to go to somebody that you didn't really know as well, so that you can start to, talk about the things that were important as well.
Yeah, Absolutely, absolutely. Well, it was great, and then that led into the panel discussion where
Uh,
we had virtual
yeah.
panelists as well as in person talking about the future state of the speaking industry as well.
Yes.
And it was
Yes.
great because we had people from the speaker bureaus, we had people from regional visitor bureaus,
Hmm.
we had event producers as well. So we got a
Yes.
really wide range
Yes.
and spectrum
Yes.
of voices.
Hmm. Yeah. And it really was, the message was very clear.
Yeah,
Hybrid is here.
it is.
It might be not as huge in 2022 or 2023, but it's huge now. It's starting now.
Yeah.
And it's really not the new normal, it's the new way of doing business. And so if you haven't, like I'm in the process of getting my studio set up,
Mhm.
uh, I made the decision because guess what? It is here to stay. And the likelihood is, even though I do in person and I'm willing to, have suitcase full travel, I do know that some of my customers and clients are not comfortable with that and they want it this way. So
Sure.
how do you present it in a way? Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
also would be remiss if I didn't talk about the other award, which I just remembered about, which
Okay.
was the New Initiative Award, which I
Oh,
gave
right.
to
That's right.
Stan Phelps and to Dr. Kevin Snyder, because
Yes.
they created this speaker academy,
Yeah.
which was a 6-week program. And what I didn't say on Friday night was that my cohort is still meeting. We meet
Wow.
once a month for 90 minutes. And so
Wow.
it just the value of it. And we chuckled that night and at other times as well. It was $165, where a lot of other chapters are charging 1,000
A
plus.
thousand plus, right? Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That was a
And you're a
tough.
new member, right? You're a new member. And why would you charge somebody an exorbitant amount of money when they're
Makes
just
no
starting
sense.
out and they don't have the money?
It makes no
So
sense.
I'm very,
Yep.
very proud of our group for having accomplished that as well.
Well, and you're exactly right. Kevin and Stan did a phenomenal job of bringing that academy to life. And the beauty of it is that we're going to continue it moving forward
Yes.
in years to come.
Yes.
And I think the other part that's really important to recognize as we think about this past year, Nancy, and this a lot of it was from you and your
Mm,
directive. Look, $165, yes, it's an investment, but it's not a thousand, like you said, when people are
right.
starting out. And the other part too is, if people will remember, members will remember, this year all of our events, all these virtual events were free.
Absolutely.
We dropped the price on that. We waived it because we didn't want that to be a barrier for people to not be able to sharpen the saw and get better at a time and bring people together at a time when we felt so disconnected.
Absolutely. And I, would be remiss if I didn't say that, we got a lot of funding for the banquet.
Yes.
Jeremy Torsick, who's a new member in the last 12 months, he
Yep.
sponsored the banquet dinner. Evan and his team of
Attended.
John Cox and also Scott Bruno
Yep.
um, worked at cost, we
Yes.
might say, at cost, right?
Attended events. We're grateful for them.
Attended events, right? And
Yes.
then APLS
And
Group,
let's
which is
not
my
forget.
organization, sponsored the breakfast, but the caveat was the bagels had to be really good.
They had to be really good. And I'll say this, the food was phenomenal from
The
Friday.
whole weekend, right? Yes.
Saturday was
Yes.
absolutely fantastic. Sometimes people leave the events and it's like 50-50, where they say, yeah, the food was great, the content, or they leave and
Yeah.
say the
Yeah.
content was phenomenal, the food,
Right.
here
Right.
people were
Right.
across the board, both were
Yes.
fantastic. So Nancy,
Yeah.
to your point, thank you to Jeremy Tourisk, to attended events, to APLS Group for their
Hmm.
generosity. Really,
Yeah.
really.
And I think as a chapter, I got very much in touch with how fortunate we are, the legacy people that we have in our chapter,
Yes.
the number of CPAEs and the number of CSPs.
Having Mike
Um,
there, I mean, that was amazing.
yes,
Yes.
right. Lenora was
Lenora.
there,
Yeah.
Valda was there, and then Alan. I mean, it's just like there was power in the room.
Yeah.
There was power in the room and also on the virtual because, Amy Clymer is our very newest CSP that was earned this past month. So, yeah, just, we're very, very fortunate. And I think I scan just for a moment all the stuff going on, LinkedIn and Facebook about the event and how people felt about it. And that's what you always hope, is that when people leave, they have that good feeling, that you always feel like it was worth it for you to come and to be part of it. And I would say to you, Mike, as now officially, and I did do that symbolism of getting a baton, which I couldn't open, but getting an orchestra baton for Stan, is that you hope that you left it better. And I feel very comfortable that I built upon what Evan did when he was president. And my hope is that, and wish, is the chapter continues to build so that it becomes the best chapter there is.
Yeah, well, Nanci, you've certainly done that, and as we expressed to you on Saturday,
Yes.
I'll express it again here for the folks who maybe didn't hear it, but I want it to be known again, and wherever people can hear this, that you had an unenviable job of leading a chapter, leading an organization that is rooted in being in front of people, getting out and traveling to make your money, to do your work at a time when that was completely shut down, and we had to revamp and reimagine what this world might look like for our chapter members. And I really believe that, look, Kevin and the programming team, Charles,
Oh,
Weathers as well,
fabulous.
just did amazing programs in there. But Nanci, you led from a place of people first, and I can say that as a board member, that you were about the people first and giving us the space to really embrace where we were so that we could do our best work for the chapter. And you led with intention, you led with passion, you led with vulnerability and transparency, quite honestly, which helped us all realize that we're human. And honestly, I mean this from the entire board. We're better because of you being our president this year, and this chapter is better because you were our president this year. So we are just grateful for that, all that you've
Thank
done
you.
to lead us and corral us and make us laugh, even if it's with your technology challenged situations. but
It's an everyday occurrence. I just kind of check, it happened today, check, it's going to
every
happen
day.
tomorrow.
I love it. I love it. Well, Nanci, is there
Thank you.
anything that you'd like to say to wrap up or part with before we close this version of open mic and we hand it off to the next group that's going to take?
Absolutely. The only thing I would say is thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to the board, to the membership. I couldn't do it without you, with any of you, with all of you. And I reach out to the membership to say, stay involved, get on a committee, be part of the future of the organization. And I'm not going to bed. I want you to know, like, I'll be around. Stan and I've talked about that. He wants me to be active as, what does Evan say? Madam Past President.
Madam Past President. I love it.
Madam, yes.
I love it. Well, that's our expectation. You're not going anywhere. We're not going to let you
That's
either.
right.
So again, Nanci, thank you for everything. Again,
Thank you.
everyone watching, thank you for tuning into Open Mic. It's been an absolute pleasure, joy, and honor to host these and help bring these stories and voices for you to life to help your business get to the next level. So cheers, everyone. Until next time. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much, Mike.